Oh, I was a big proponent of Biden. I mean, who will support Trump? I mean, you know that this is we didn't have that alternative, but right now Biden looks worse than Trump.
We are presented with Trump and Biden as our only option. But I think what Listen to Michigan does again is it's strictly a strategy that is showing that people in America are we're pro human life, we're pro ceasefire, and more importantly that Michigan is pro Palestinian.
It will be very hard for me to put my support behind a candidate that is complicit in the killing of my brothers and sisters in Gaza and the destruction of my ancestral land.
We will have at least 10 or 11,000 votes that are voting for Uncommitted, which is a vote for peace and against war, that we're going to show to President Biden to say our anti-war movement in this country that is united under the banner of ceasefire now, we're growing.
We are not going to go out of our way to help Biden like we did in 2020.
So we're outside Hamtramck City Hall. This is where a rally is going to be held shortly here. But most of the folks that are here are not just those who are participating in this rally, but they're also folks who are local media, national media, and international media. You know, this is something that you don't normally see in and around Metro Detroit, but given the weight of the situation in Gaza, how it's affected people there, and also the voice of the uncommitted movement that has garnered a lot of people's attention, not only here locally, but nationally and internationally. It's garnered the interest of, again, media all over the world, and it's happening right here in the city of Hamtramck.
Uncommitted, uncommitted. We are voting uncommitted. Hello? Hi, thank you for coming, everyone. We are so honored to be here in Hamtramck. We're here to tell Joe Biden that we do not want our American taxpayer dollars funding the bombs that are killing innocent children.
We have the expertise that President Biden ought to be listened to as people, many of us Arab and Muslim American, who have survived war ourselves, who know what it's like when a US-funded bomb drops, who know what that smells like, what it feels like in our bones. And we're here to tell Mr. President that based on our expertise, the mission is clear. You have to stop funding genocide. Say, stop funding genocide.
Stop funding genocide.
Stop killing babies.
Stop killing babies.
Vote uncommitted.
Vote uncommitted.
My name is Joshua Feinstein, and I'm a proud Jewish American citizen. I'm also the son of a Holocaust survivor. So believe me when I tell you that today the world is witnessing a subjugation, an ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people on par with the Holocaust, on par with South Africa's apartheid, and on par with 400 years of oppression here in America. And here's the thing. President Joe Biden has the power to make this nightmare stop. Allow me to prove it to you. In 1982, when the Israelis besieged Beirut, then President Ronald Reagan called up Prime Minister Menachem Begin in Israel and said, get your tanks and get your army and get out of Beirut now. And with that one phone call from the President of the United States, the Israelis indeed turned their tanks around. And as they did so, the Prime Minister announced that a complete ceasefire had been ordered. One phone call, and indeed a ceasefire had been declared. On the contrary, today President Joe Biden withholds any support for a ceasefire. He is uncommitted to a permanent ceasefire and chooses instead to send more weapons and more money to Israel. But we've been asking for months. Please, Mr. President, make this nightmare stop. And he is uncommitted. Well, on February 27th, many of us Democrats, will be going to the polls. And when we vote, we will vote uncommitted. Thank you very much. God bless you and God bless a free Palestine.
What I have to say is, Joe Biden, you can't kill 30,000 people and expect that we will forget. And what Joe Biden expected is that we would forget. And instead, we have started an entire movement called Vote Uncommitted to prove to him that you cannot kill our people and think that we will forget. And so this is a protest vote, not only putting Biden on notice, not only putting his administration on notice, but also putting Congress on notice that Michigan is a pro-Palestine state. That Michigan is anti-war. And if you don't align with those values, then we don't align with you, and we're uncommitted until you align.
As Americans, we stand against war. As Americans, we stand against killing innocent men, women, and children, no matter who they are. Stand for these brown bodies that are getting bombed every single day with the same passion and fervor that you are doing for our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. See, we don't believe in a selective justice. We believe in a total justice, which is why we are voting uncommitted this upcoming Tuesday. If you have not voted and you live in Hamtramck, come stand in the middle with me. Who hasn't voted yet? Who hasn't voted yet and lives in Hamtramck? Come on over. Okay, I'm going to wrap up my speech and actually take this crowd with me to City Hall to go vote. So I'll see you guys later. Free Palestine, and remember, vote uncommitted in the Democratic primary. God bless you.
Oh, thank you. That's amazing.
I know that I am preaching to the choir this afternoon, but sometimes the choir must be lifted. What happens in the Gaza happens here. What happens over there happens over here. What happens in the Congo happens over here. Wherever there are oppressed people. As Dr. Jim Zogby said, where this is no longer about self-defense, this is pure, unadulterated genocide. We have unhoused people right here. That's right. So if we can't house the people here, how do you think we're going to care about the over 60% of the infrastructure destroyed in the Gaza? What happens over there happens over here. The problem is that babies in Dearborn or babies in Detroit go to bed hungry at night. Babies in Cleveland go to bed hungry at night. Babies in Chicago go to bed hungry at night. And if they don't give a damn about the babies in the United States of America, they don't give a damn about the babies in the Gaza. Ceasefire right now.
And right now we're going to bring up a sister who is so difficult to describe. I will take a moment of personal pleasure and personal permission. This sister stays always on the front line. Put your hands together.
And for Michigan, there's an awakening. We're seeing children dying right in front of us, crying out, parents, mothers, crying out for their children. You all know this. Children are forced to eat grass, animal feed to just survive. Watching a grandmother Marine with water that looked brown because the mother died. There was no breast milk. Just a grandmother feeding her dog, their granddaughter, with brown water. I'm not sure what other proof is needed for my colleagues to see the obvious reality that this is ethnic cleansing taking place right now, live in front of your eyes. And this is what we're gonna do. We're using our democracy to speak up and say, listen to us. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't make them let it sound controversial. The same person fighting for dreamers is saying to me, oh, I'm here to say ceasefire. The same person is saying rent is too damn high. Is saying, no, I'm here to talk about ceasefire. The same person is saying, what up? We gotta be over to organize unions, we gotta protect unions. Is saying, no, I'm here to talk about ceasefire today. So the majority of Americans and all the movements are together in saying ceasefire now. But I know this. It's ceasefire, comma, end the apartheid, comma, end the blockading Gaza, comma, end all forms of oppression. Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
There's two things that I feel like are going through my mind. One, the diversity in this room. I would say the second thing, I mean, you have reporters from all over the country and the globe that have all eyes on Michigan. And, you know, I think one of the things going through my mind right now is that Biden and his administration thought that we'd forget. They thought that we wouldn't react to the fact that there's been 30,000 people in Palestine who've been murdered by U.S. funded Israeli bombs. And
I think, you know, we defied them. We did exactly what they thought we couldn't do, which is we mobilized people. And now we have folks across the state of Michigan that are ready to vote uncommitted.
Polls for the Michigan presidential primary are expected to be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, Election Day. I'm also told that there's going to be some volunteers with the Voted Uncommissioned campaign, not only handing out flyers, but urging voters to vote uncommitted in this primary election in hopes to send a message, as they put it, to President Biden for his stance on Israel's war in Gaza. But for now, Ibrahim Samra reporting from Dearborn,